Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, COB's presidential candidate hopeful Rodney Smith shares his vision for the future of the University of the Bahamas. He also dismisses claims about alleged plagiarism that he faced 9 years ago.
Plus, an apparent emergency landing at LPIA, and ZNS is the only station on the scene.
And a champion is crowned in Night League volleyball action. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. Thanks for joining us.
An apparent emergency landing at the Lynden Pindling International Airport is now under investigation.
Kendino Knowles reports that the accident seemed to have caused periodic backups in air traffic at the country's main gateway.
The pilot of a small aircraft was forced on Sunday afternoon to make an emergency landing at the Lynden Pindling International Airport after he reportedly began experiencing some difficulties. The aircraft, which is a Piper Navajo registration number N327RM, reportedly had problems with the landing gear, causing the front wheel on the aircraft to collapse upon landing. Our news team headed to runway 9 just after 5 o'clock yesterday, and from our vantage point, we were able to see the aircraft on its belly in the middle of the airstrip.
Now, from about 5:45 Sunday afternoon up until 8 o'clock, we saw emergency crews and officials from the Civil Aviation Department process the area. In the meantime, we're told on Sundays, both runway 9 and runway 14, otherwise known as the main runway, work interchangeably, and so traffic would usually go between both runways. And obviously with runway 9 down, the majority of traffic had to be moved to the main runway. And obviously with that, we saw some periodic backups on the main runway.
NAT officials have confirmed the incident happened, but up until last night could not provide specifics. There's been no word on where the aircraft was coming from, and up to airtime, the pilot was fine, but there's since been no official word on his condition.
Well, as is customary, the Civil Aviation Department will conduct an investigation into this latest incident, and a report obviously would be forthcoming. In the meantime, officials say they are happy that this incident did not end tragically. Kendino Knowles, ZNS Network News.
The expansion project of a leading hotel chain in the Bahamas has been completed as promised.
Now, Sandals has fulfilled the promise and could expand even more. And as Prime Minister Perry Christie and other officials of the government officially commissioned the new refurbished state-of-the-art luxury wing at Sandals Royal Bahamian today, there were signs that the hotel property could be growing again soon. Clint Watson has the story.
It's the clearest indicator that investor confidence has returned to the Bahamas and the rebound of our tourism industry is in high gear. Sandals Royal Bahamian Resort today officially opened its new Crystal Lagoon swim-up suites after millions of dollars in construction and redevelopment of the property. Prime Minister Perry Christie was given an extensive tour of the property Monday and was impressed to see the level of upgrades and expansion that the popular couples resort on Cable Beach has undergone.
It represents a commitment to ensuring that he has a first-class product here at Sandals. Much to my surprise, really, when I saw the new suites and the new water along the suite. Sandals continues to be a leader in innovation and in marketing, excellent comfort in terms of visitor enjoyment, and I've been able to see it.
It's already been announced that Sandals will relocate its headquarters to the Bahamas, and Prime Minister Christie expects construction to begin soon. But that's not all. Both Mr. Christie and Sandals owner Butch Stewart are signaling a possible Beaches brand resort.
Next to the resort, Emerald Bay, and that I expect the property just wasn't bought to sit there. And of course they say, well, why would I come as a prime minister to talk about what may happen? And they don't know Butch Stewart. You know, I mean, the fact that he bought it is only a matter of time before that property just develops. With Mr. Stewart.
Their options is our Beaches brand that works very well, or whether we expand the existing hotel and double the size of some But we're looking at a number of things right now.
Executive in the company, Adam Stewart, says one of the signatures of the Sandals brand is training. The resort has made history by establishing the corporate university. The Prime Minister also commended the hotel for training Bahamian butlers, which represents a new kind of success in the industry.
We've had an amazing experience, and for us, the Sandals way is continuous evolution, training and development of staff, reinvestment in the product, of course, the marketing in the marketplace. The Nassau itself is a very well-established destination. Exuma is the most magnificent destination that we need to tell the world about and get out there more and more. And as the PM has seen today, the evolution, it never really stops in our world. It's all about how do we make it better, how do we continue to grow, and listen to what the customers have to say. So it's we're very proud. Today's a very proud day for us, PM, for you to be here with us. The island gets better and better. The facilities in these resorts get better and better. The training and development programs of our team members, the Bahamians, have absolutely risen to the occasion, and Sandals as an all-inclusive brand continues to push the envelope. And as we push the envelope, they're rising with us. And
the Prime Minister is anticipating this won't be the last stop. He's hoping that Sandals will continue what it's been doing, and that is redeveloping the brand right here in the Bahamas. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Clint. In other news this evening, the fourth and final presidential candidate looking to start a new chapter at the College of the Bahamas. Dr. Rodney Smith left COB 9 years ago in a cloud of controversy over allegations of plagiarism. But today, he faced those that he may have let down, dismissing those claims and standing poised, ready to take over the nation's premier tertiary institution. Our Janae Noel Ferguson tonight has the report.
Dr. Rodney Smith returned to the College of the Bahamas 9 years after he faced allegations of plagiarism. But on Monday, he sought to set the record straight about what really happened.
I made the mistake of doing so, and therefore I took full responsibility. A few days later, I received an email suggesting that I might have violated intellectual property rights. My immediate response was shock and surprise. I did verify that credit was not given to a colleague of mine, but I also know that it was not an intentional omission on the part of the person who drafted the remarks. I proceeded to contact the writer that very same day. He sent a message indicating that he considered the document in question to be the property of the education community in general, and that he had given me carte blanche permission to use the document in whatever manner I wished.
He accepted numerous opportunities at universities throughout the U.S. and presently serves as the VP of Administration at Hampton University in Virginia. He says many of the successes he has had abroad can be mirrored here at home, but had questions for the presidential hopeful.
Being the victim of such plagiarism acts, will you consider implementing policies and sanctions that would properly resolve and discourage the occurrence of another similar incident from taking place?
As president, just as I have before, I will work to implement a system of shared collegial governance and promote community knowledge of the institution while developing and implementing a robust and sustainable quality assurance initiative for continuous improvement and institutional effectiveness.
With a number of incidents taking place on campus, the pressing matter of security was also chief among the concern for students.
When you develop a residential community, you also need to take into consideration every aspect of the residential community, but you also need your law enforcement officers to have the same powers of arrest as a regular police officer.
Smith says he has a strong vision to take the University of the Bahamas to a new frontier. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Some sweeping changes on tap for the educational sector, and it's all to meet the demands of a modern Bahamas. Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald says Cabinet recently approved the Standardized High School Diploma, which he intends to announce in Parliament this week. He outlined some of the details of the Standardized High School Diploma to S.C. McPherson Junior High students today and just how it will impact them.
As a requirement for graduating from high school, you all will be required, as part of your minimum requirement, to get between an A and D in 4 subjects inclusive of math, English, science, and social studies. So those of you who did not and do not get those grades come June this year, A to D, you will be required to resit your BJC in grade 10, 11, and 12.
Fitzgerald says the introduction of the standardized diploma is a major intervention on government's behalf to ensure that before students leave school, they are functionally literate and numerate. He was speaking during the launch of S.C. Macpherson's Literacy Week under the theme Rekindling the Spirit of Literacy. The Education Minister also presented numerous awards to students in grades 7 through 9 who would have participated in various speech, spelling, poetry, and essay competitions. Also on hand for this morning's ceremony was House Speaker and Garden Hills MP, Dr. Kendall Major.
Literacy closes the prison doors and deters crime. It's as simple as that. Literacy produces a more educated and productive society. Literacy increases your quality of life. Better readers get better jobs and are more functional in our community. Strong literacy means strong health care. Literacy is power.
27-year-old Jamaican national Dwight Ford, also known as Dwight Parchment, walked free today after a jury cleared him of an armed robbery charge. Ford was accused of robbing a phone card vendor back in February of 2011, but he denied any involvement in the matter, calling it a case of mistaken identity. During the trial, Ford called an immigration officer in his defense who produced records to show that Ford and Parchment are two different people. Jurors apparently believed his story and returned a unanimous not guilty verdict. Now, Ford has no status in the country and is facing deportation. Attorney Ian Cargill defended him. Maria Zancola and Vaughn Turner prosecuted the case. The Douglas Pratt murder trial was expected to open today before Senior Justice John Isaacs, but the matter was pushed back to May. Pratt is accused of the 2010 murder of 22-year-old mother of two and banker Shandy Cartwright. Initial reports were that Cartwright was on the beach with Pratt when they were both attacked by armed bandits, but police later doubted that story and Pratt was arrested and charged in connection with the incident. The U.S. Department of State has released its 2014 International Narcotics Control Strategy Report, noting a significant black market for smuggled cigarettes and guns in the Bahamas. The report goes on to say that money laundering trends include the purchase of real estate, large vehicles, boats, and jewelry, as well as the processing of money through a complex web of legitimate businesses and international business companies registered in the offshore financial sector. Drug traffickers and other criminal organizations, the report says, take advantage of the large number of IBCs and offshore banks registered in the Bahamas to launder significant sums of money despite strict know-your-customer transaction reporting requirements. The report also notes that the Bahamas remains a transit point for illegal drugs bound for the U.S. and other international markets, and that the archipelagic nature of the Bahamas and its proximity to the U.S. makes the entire country accessible by all types of watercraft, including small sail and power boats, thereby making smuggling and moving bulk cash relatively easy. Well, still to come, find out how these hands are a lot stronger than they appear.
And a champion is crowned in Night League Volleyball. We've got the highlights coming up. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.